Hey guys, Technomentary with a video for you guys. In today's video, we're going to talk about the iPad Air 2 or the second generation and if it's worth it in 2023 and the good and the bad about this iPad, whether you have one or thinking of buying one. We're going to discuss all of that. So let's get started. So the iPad Air 2 here was released back in October of 2014. Now, as you can imagine, in a couple months, it's going to hit 9 years, which is pretty impressive for any tablets out there on the market to be able to pretty much be around even after that many years. And that makes iOS, or at least for Apple devices, kind of a little bit superior in terms of their tablet market that they have. Now there's a bunch of different types of tablet. The Air generally seems to be the one of the lighter ones. This one specifically, the first generation and the second generations, were very light. As you can see, it's very thin as well, so it's really easily handhelable to be able to be versatile with it and move it around as much as you like. Now, it does have a 9.7-inch display. When it comes to even things like camera here, you do get about 8 megapixel back camera here, so you can take some pretty good picture. And of course, on the front here, you have a 1.2 front megapixel camera here. You can shoot videos up to 1080p on it as well. You have slow motion, time lapse, and other features as well available for this iPad. Now, equipped on this device is Apple's A8X chipset with 2 gigs of RAM. Now, at the time it was pretty good, but now if you compare to current day devices which go up to 6 gigs of RAM, that doesn't seem like a lot, but 2 gigs still is enough for this iPad to be able to be updated to up to iOS 15. So if I go into the settings here, like my iOS update here, as you can see here, you won't be able to update this past iOS 15, and currently we're on iOS 16, which is the latest version, and then later this year iOS of course 17 is slated to come out. Unfortunately, this iPad will no longer go past iOS 15, so you won't be able to get iOS 17 either way on this iPad. So that's one thing to note. Now, when it comes to other things like storage devices that you can get this one, so they start with pretty low, about 16 gig, and can go all the way up to 128 gig. Now, 128 gig, you might think, well, that's kind of the minimum for most iPads nowadays, because storage, again, technology has improved up to that point here. And then when we talk about things like battery on this iPad, now this battery size is a 7340 mAh battery, which is supposed to give you, as advertised, 10 hours of battery life. But if you're generally well, depending on the usage that you do, you probably get 6 to 7 hours of battery usage out of this iPad. So now let's talk about the software aspect of this iPad. As you can see here, so I downloaded some of the apps that are more popular here, some of the ones for social media, some gaming ones, some of like streaming, video streaming ones that you'll see here. I can open them up without any issues, and it's compatible with most of the apps out there, because now again, you might get constant need to update it, which you can go ahead and update those as needed, which wouldn't be an issue because iOS 15, although is going to be 2 years old, it's still supported for most apps out there. That's kind of the one thing you kind of have to worry about when your iPad doesn't get any more major iOS update. It could be not compatible with some of the apps, but that's not the case. As you can see here, most of the apps will open up for us without any issues, and we can pretty much use those apps as well. So here, as you can see here, you can just go ahead and do all of that. Now, bringing back to the point of what this iPad is good for or what's not, to kind of finally answer the question if the iPad Air 2 is really worth it in 2023 or for you in that case. Now, one thing to note about this iPad 2 is that although it has a really good reflective coating display, really great for watching shows, videos, and even browsing and such things, one thing you'll notice, this iPad does not support Apple Pencil, so you won't be able to use your Apple Pencil on it. Now, we mentioned it does have a camera which is 8 megapixel, but there is no physical flash. So if you're taking photos at nighttime and such, you won't be able to pretty much get that kind of flash feature on this iPad. Now, the other biggest downside of this iPad, of course, is just not being able to upgrade past iOS 15. So in terms of what it's good for, I generally say it's good for watching videos, as essentially your favorite shows and movies on Netflix, of course, or YouTube. Name your favorite streaming app or whatever app you like to use, that will be fine for this iPad. Now, the other thing this will be good for is browsing. So as you saw here, I can just simply go ahead, browse and open up multiple apps here without any issues, even with just about 1 or 2 gigs of RAM. You'll see here browsing shouldn't be hard for you as well. Now, the other thing this iPad is good for is light gaming. And what I mean by light gaming is games that are more, doesn't have too much graphic going on, like 2D, even some 3D games as well, because you won't experience much lag. Now, when you start getting into heavy graphic gaming, that's when you might see now lag with it. That's why I don't recommend high or heavy graphic gaming that are meant to play on your console. Now, the other thing this iPad isn't going to be great for, as I mentioned, because there's no support for Apple Pen. So if you're a professional or artist that likes to draw, thinking of using as a drawing pad, this isn't going to be an iPad for you. And lastly, if you think about editing stuff, videos, movies, again, I don't think this iPad is really good for that, because I try to edit some videos and it seems like there's some issues going on in terms of just not having enough power. Sometimes it stutters or just simply can't deliver that. So that's it for this video. I hope this video was helpful in kind of making your choice of it. Now, the iPad 2, our final conclusion is that it's still a decent device, just simply you aren't going to deliver the most power, but still can be used for just watching videos, browsing, playing light games, but not some of the professional level stuff that you want to do. So I hope this video was helpful. If so, please make sure to like and subscribe button. And we want to hear from you. If you have an iPad 2 that you're using or thinking of using it, let us know. What do you think about it? And if you guys are looking for iPad 2, check out the link in the description section for other iPads that you can get from eBay and Amazon for a discounted price. Thanks for watching, guys. See you guys next time.